This week on Africa Weekly, we travel to northern Senegal, the home of the country's last surviving World War I trooper. And we take you to Somaliland, where a near-worthless hard currency is forcing people to find more convenient ways to make payments through an innovative mobile platform. But first, a summary of the stories that made the headlines this week. The father of Hawa Liman, an aid worker with the International Committee of the Red Cross, who was executed by Boko Haram on Wednesday, spoke of his grief.
I feel very bad about it. For a person to lose a child who has gone to do service to the community, just all to hear that she is dead, so grieved.
The death comes a month after the murder of one of her colleagues, Saifura Horsa, in northeast Nigeria after they were kidnapped by the extremist group on March 1st during a Boko Haram raid on the remote town of Ran in Borno State. Another woman working for the UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, was also kidnapped on the same day and remains in captivity. ICRC spokesperson in Abuja, Alexandra Mosiman, told AFP that the agency had tried everything in their power to obtain a positive outcome of the crisis.
We have tried our best. We have appealed to the government. We have appealed to the group who is holding them. We have appealed to all the people with some influence over the group holding them to help us to have them released safely.
In Mutsamudu, Comoros' second largest city, civilians resumed their daily life after days of water and electricity cuts caused by pursuing conflict between rebels and government forces that has left at least 3 people dead. The unrest follows months of tension as President Azali Assoumani's bid to extend term limits through planned constitutional changes could see him rule for 11 more years. At least 16 people were killed in Somalia on Saturday in suicide bombings that targeted a restaurant and coffee shop. The blasts came a day before the first anniversary of a truck bombing that left more than 500 dead in Mogadishu, the worst ever attack in Somalia, which was blamed on Islamist group Al-Shabaab. Ivorians headed to the poll on Saturday in municipal and local elections that left at least 1 person killed and many injured. The delay in issuing the results had sparked a protest near Abidjan the previous night, and police fired tear gas to break up crowds. The Election Commission announced that the country's main party, the RHDP coalition, won 92 municipalities. The independents took 56, while the opposition PDCI, a former RHDP ally, won 50. The tiny West African state of Gambia swore in an 11-member commission on Monday, tasked with shedding light on summary executions, disappearances, torture, rape and other crimes under ousted dictator Yahya Jammeh. Inspired by South Africa's investigation into the apartheid era, the commission will hold witness hearings into Jammeh's 22-year era of oppression. Donning Zulu attire and joining in on a traditional dance, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa attended a ceremony on Sunday to return 4,586 hectares of land in KwaZulu-Natal after the transfer of ownership to the local community.
We are making history. We are celebrating today the return of the land to our people in this area. This is history in the making.
Agrarian reform is a current concern in South African politics, and this symbolic act follows the president's efforts to amend the constitution to make it possible to expropriate land without compensation. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on Tuesday unveiled a downsized cabinet where, in a first, half the members are women. Ethiopia is now the second African nation after Rwanda to achieve gender parity in its cabinet, and one of only a handful of nations to achieve this worldwide. Women occupy key positions in the 20-member cabinet that include the first female defense minister, Aisha Mohammed.
The town of Thiawo, northern Senegal. It was in these humble surroundings that Senegal's last surviving World War I trooper lived out his final years. Abdoulaye Ndiaye fought for France from the beginning of the Great War.
He left for the front in 1914. He talked about his journey from Dakar, where they received very basic military training in the camp of Thiaroye. That's where they gave them basic training, for someone from the backcountry to become a soldier.
Abdoulaye was just 20 years old when he was sent to the battles of the Somme and Verdun. While fighting at the Somme, he received a serious head wound, which continued to cause him pain years later. At the end of the war, he returned to Senegal with a modest pension and a French railway pass, which he was never to use.
Ce que je sais, c'est qu'il était honoré d'avoir.
What I know is that he was honored to have accomplished something. I mean, taking part in military combat with all the perils of war, the threat of death. To have done it for France, but also to have done it to bring honor to his father and his brothers.
Pour honorer son père et ses frères.
Abdoulaye lived to the age of 104, passing away in 1998, just one day before he was due to be presented with the Legion of Honor. He received the award posthumously.
All that he earned, he shared. That is why he did not leave much behind. When he received his pension allowance, he would share it with others on the very same morning.
As a last wish, he requested that France do something to improve his village. This French-funded road, known as Sharpshooter's Path, was opened in 2002. Today, Abdoulaye's family just want to ensure that this legacy is maintained. Abdihakim Osman is in the mood for a cold drink. But there's no need for him to get cash out. His phone does the job. This is Somaliland, a country where modernity and deprivation come face to face. When it comes to making payments here, most city dwellers use Zard, a mobile platform.
We buy everything with Somaliland shillings using our mobile wallet. First, you have to load your phone with dollars, then you change them into Somaliland shillings. And after that, you can make your purchases in the local currency. You can have as much as 10, 20 or 30 million shillings.
The country launched its own currency in 1994, but after years of political and economic instability, it has lost almost all of its value. You need handfuls of cash to make even the most simple purchases. In the streets of Hargeisa, you often see traders equipped with large stacks of paper money.
For the first 3 years, $1 US was worth between 7,500 to 8,000 Somaliland shillings, but now it's 10,000 shillings.
Somaliland declared independence from the rest of Somalia in 1991, but is not officially recognised by any country. It has only 2 banks, and people are wary of the banking system.
The people don't put their money in government banks because they have no faith in them. They prefer to put their money in private banks or on their mobile wallet, and this contributed to the currency devaluation, also making the dollar stronger.
Today, Zard has 850,000 users, a quarter of the population. Critics of the platform are concerned about the lack of regulation, as this mobile money is not controlled by the central bank. For others, this new economic system, with its air of modernity, offers hope for greater recognition on the international stage.
American rapper Kanye West and his wife Kim Kardashian West visited Uganda last week, where they met with President Yoweri Museveni and gifted the 74-year-old leader a pair of white sneakers. Rap megastar West is in the East African nation to finish recording his 9th studio album, Yandi, which was meant to drop 2 weeks ago, until his surprise decision to go and record in Africa to feel the energy. Two-time Olympic gold medalist Kipchoge Keino was one of 7 Kenyan officials charged in a scandal involving the mismanagement of funds during the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. The men were slapped with charges ranging from abuse of office to failing to comply with laws on the management of public funds. That's all from us at Africa Weekly. Until next week.